That's killed it.
You made the decision to play Thiago. But Klopp doesn't change the system. Since move back left. You don't want to change from the 4-3-3.
What's going on, people? It's your boy JJ back again on your screens for us 2 days in a row now. And I just wanted to do, a little kind of review on the pre-season game. So obviously our 4-0 loss to United. Not the best way to start, is it, guys? Before we start off, please smash the likes. Make sure you're commenting with me and make sure that we're interacting. Obviously, this is a platform as much for me as it is for you guys. And then, of course, subscribe if you're new. And that's all I really ask for when I hop on here. So, yeah, man. 4-0 loss to United. It don't sound good on paper. I don't think it's as cut and dry as everyone's making out. I do feel as though it was good. It was a good run out for the lads. I think it gave the team time to kind of get the well-needed minutes in their belts. We could see that there was a lot of rust, kind of dusting off of the cobwebs. Obviously, nonetheless, you never want to see your team lose 4-0, especially against United. So it has that kind of bittersweet kind of feeling. Obviously, we got to see our new signings in Nunes and Carvalho, which is obviously fantastic. Let's. I think we should just start off with how we set out. Our starting lineup, much changed from obviously our strongest lineup, starting with Alisson, Maguire at right back, Chambers at left back, with Nat Phillips and Gomez at centre back. Obviously a midfield of Morton, Henderson, and if I'm correct, Elliott. And then up front it was, guys, you got to help me out. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Let's look at that. So it was Carvalho, Diaz, and who was up front? And Bobby as well played, didn't he? Yeah, and really promising, to be fair, from a few people in that first half. I think Maguire showed real promise, especially going forwards. I do think, obviously, he wasn't defensively. You could see he wasn't up to it. I mean, that kind of clearance, you'd expect that from someone that's really young, which he is. But of that level, like anything that comes in the box is just basics. You just got to get rid of it. And I don't know whether it was, I don't know. It's probably a bit of nerves. I mean, Maguire's never played in a stadium like that, so we got to look at it like that as well. Tried to take on his man. Wanted to show something different. You could see he was keen and eager, and the same as Chambers as well. Really, in that side. In that first half, there was a lot of kind of interplay. I remember that Maguire did get down the right hand side and put a cross in that was obviously stopped by De Gea. So I mean, he done well. He did show a bit of promise. Whether obviously he's gonna, I don't think we're gonna see him next season anywhere near the first team. But it was a good experience for him. A good experience for him. In midfield, I think it was quite interesting. I did mention with G on a couple of streams ago about how essentially we could see a midfield of Jones, Elliott, and Carvalho, and obviously we didn't manage to do that. But having the midfield of obviously Elliott, Morton, Hendo, and Carvalho, having Carvalho and Elliott on the pitch at the same time was really interesting to see. I think Elliott showed, and I mean, look, big up everyone in the chat that's watching, everyone that's commenting, but Elliott, Bobby, and Diaz, yeah, exactly. That was the front three. But so Elliott, obviously, I think was incredible. I think Elliott showed with his couple touches, and I did re-watch the kind of game, and he did show a lot of promise, a lot of interplay. There's good passages of play. I think Carvalho, you could involve him in that as well. I think played really well. Took a while to kind of get into the game, but I think once he found his confidence, you could see he was popping up. I think the fact that he got into the box and got into those positions, and there was one point where it was actually for his chance where he's running through on goal and he opens his body up and tries to slide. He slides in it was Elliot. He slides in Elliot on the right-hand side. And that wasn't the best pass. I feel that was the easy pass. In my opinion, I think you should have played it to the left. I think Diaz was in a better position. But that will come with time. But you can really see he's trying to get into the box. He's trying to obviously, he's trying to adapt. And obviously playing in those conditions as well can be really, really difficult. I think in general, like I said, good interplay. Obviously, Pab's saying in the chat as well that Elliot was good for about 20 minutes. Obviously, fell off a little after, and I agree. I think you're going to get inconsistencies with young players, but on top of that, obviously, it's pre-season. We only played about 30 minutes a game in it, so playing well for 20 minutes, I think that's not too bad. Not too bad as a first outing. I think Diaz looked really, really electric. I know people are commenting on his finishing and that type of thing, but I think you've got to look at it with Diaz, and I think Diaz is a type of player that he's so direct and he's taking his man on so effectively. It causes so many issues for teams, and obviously we do want him to be scoring, and he's going to have to. But even if he's not, he changes the dynamic of a backline, changes the dynamic of a game. Now, for me personally, I do feel as if Diaz is just going to click because he's not shooting and it's going way off target. And yeah, I mean, he's not that type of player. He's showing he's hitting the post, he's skimming, it's those nearly chances. And I think once it clicks, I think he'll find form. Similar to how Suarez was at Liverpool in his first season. He was doing everything but scoring. It was coming off the post. He was nutmegging people, all that type of stuff. And I think he looked really, really, really good. I think he looked fit as well, to be fair, more than anything. I think he's another player that a pre-season is more or less just like a training game, innit? Add down at goals with your local lads and your friends. So, yeah, man, I think yeah, that was quite well. Bobby, for me, was a concern. I think Bobby, I'm really starting to struggle. Like, where does he fit in? Does he fit in as a midfielder, as a striker? I don't think he's got the legs anymore to play that false nine. So you're now trying to convert him to play a kind of more orthodox role, and I don't know whether that fits him. Yeah, Bobby was all right. I think in general, I think out of all the teams that played, I think the most exciting kind of team to play was obviously the first team. Obviously, we played 3 starting 11s, playing 30 minutes each. So obviously we changed over after 30 minutes, and obviously came on. I believe it was Ox. It was a team of Ox. So it was Ox, Matip. No, it wasn't Matip. It was Reece Williams. Yeah, Reece Williams, Matip. Was it Simi that came on? Yeah, few players to come. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't even remember. But that suggests a lot. I mean, Ox played decent. I think Ox played decent. I think every preseason he actually has a decent preseason, to be fair. He's never really, really poor. And I think even last season when he was being trialed out as a false nine, I think he done really well. I think in general, we could see that. I think Milner came on in that game as well, and I wasn't impressed with Milner at all. I think that's when the screams for a midfielder really, really, really just are emphasised, because we're going to be relying on Morton and Milner, and I don't think that's necessarily good enough. I don't think it is. Yeah, I think that team was okay. And to be fair, I think it's the team that didn't really concede because we were 3 goals down already, weren't we? So Reece Williams for me has got to go. Yeah, there we go. Look, Pabs, big up. Just mentioning that midfield was Curtis, Ox, Milner. Yeah, I think Ox and Jones were probably the better out of the 3. I think Milner, you can see some of the part, like that shot he had. There was actually a chance where he took a touch, like over the head touch, really, really well. He's cut inside onto his right foot, and then the shot was just really tame, and it just reminded me of just like an old horse. And I think that's what the commentators even labelled him as. They actually called him an old horse. So it was a bit mad. I think Jones showed he was steady, tidy, kept the ball really well. I would like to see Jones play on the right. I would like to do so purely as an advanced state, because I feel like he's starting to Klopp's trying to force this kind of Gini Wijnaldum role, and anyone that plays on that left, bar Thiago when he plays there, really kind of just keeps the ball really well. So they keep the ball really well, but don't offer anything going forwards. So I don't know. Me personally, would I do something? I think Jones has got a lot more in the kind of in his locker than I thought he would. And yeah, Mark K saying I do believe he was playing left wing, but he did drop off a lot. And I think I don't want to see him on the wing either. I think he's so used to that midfield role where you're just cutting inside and creating and laying it off and popping it off. It's difficult just to adapt like that. I think he needs to just get a set position now, and I think that will help his development. And I think that will happen with obviously with Elliot and all of them. Reece Williams, I mean, people are talking about as well. And guys, I will go through the comments. So big up 8 people in the chat. So appreciate it. This is obviously a last minute thing. So big up everyone. Reece saying, Pablo saying Reece was thinking up the place. Reece was really bad. And I think I spoke about it in my last stream. Prior to obviously coming back from loan in January when we had the crisis 2 seasons ago, he was at Kidderminster in non-league, so he wasn't even League 2 standard, and he didn't pull up any trees. He was just a body that Liverpool needed. Now I don't think that's good enough, and I think it's telling. I was speaking to someone. Why is Sepp Vandenberg not getting a chance? Sepp Vandenberg had a really good season, played more or less week in, week out for Preston. I think that's a player that we could have, tried. Reece Williams is just not good enough, unfortunately, because those type of mistakes, look, if that was youth level, if that's Sunday league, Saturday league, non-league, you can accept that because that type of stuff happens. But when you're playing in week out, that's really poor. And especially when we're a team that dominates possession, we can't have that in our back line. I think Phillips as well weren't great, and we were obviously Phillips played in the net, obviously not in this team. He played in the first game, but Phillips he's not good enough either. I think the young lad Bajetic, I think he was quite good. He was quite good. I did hear in commentary that he did play as a centre back. So I was quite impressed to see that he could play that centre mid role, also that number 6 role. Controlled the game relatively well. I think there was a couple of times he stopped the fast breaks, which is really important when you're playing that 6 role. I think Clarkson and Clark weren't great. They weren't great. I think they're pretty much regens from past seasons. We haven't got the greatest academy. I think everyone knows that. So I guess they're doing a job and they're bringing us numbers. So that was great. I think when we look at the type of goals we conceded, and it was obviously Sancho, Fred, Sancho, Fred, Martial, and is it Pelistri that scored? And for 3 of those goals, it was just poor errors. The first goal, obviously, Mabaya in the first half, obviously really poor clearance, as I alluded to earlier. The Martial goal, Reece, that's really poor. Fred's goal as well, poor clearance, and then Alisson getting lobbed. That's stuff that you just never ever see in a Premier League game. So I think on that part, I think it's good. It's pre-season. It's not really encouraging that there were that many errors. You'd assume there to be like a golfing class and us concede goals as a result of not having the best players on the pitch. But those errors, I don't like to see that. I like to see kind of consistency. And yeah, it wasn't the best. And the 13 that came out, obviously, I feel that we all would agree in the chat, really dominated kind of that period of the game. And to be fair, throughout the game, we did dominate United. It just got caught on the counters. I think Trent really stepped up in that game, from what I remember. Couple of the passes straight into over to Nunes, who we will obviously touch on. Really good, really impressive. We look at the likes of, Van Dijk was off the pace a bit, which is to be expected. I've gone through obviously a knee injury myself, so yeah, it's tough to get back into. It's tough to get back into. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but obviously there's actually this is obviously during the preseason where Carvalho and Van Dijk are actually in the ice bath together, and Van Dijk's actually emphasising, "I've got ice my knees, and the knees are important, and especially after a knee injury, it's imperative that he gets into the rhythm of things." So, I mean, that was to be expected, although he didn't look great. I think Konate looked decent. Trent superb. Robbo as well showed a lot of energy. Robbo's another one. He's just a live wire. He's just impressive, really, really impressive. Keita for me weren't great. You can obviously see the ideas, but he's not a young player anymore. And there's a couple of times those passes were either underhit through to Nunes. There was actually one that I remember where Nunes literally on the last man free going through on goal, and that pass was just underhit, which meant that he had to Nunes had to check his run and stop, and all that type of stuff makes you look worse. And I think with a team game, it's really, really difficult because when you're relying on someone to play you a good pass or to make a good touch or to finish, it always impacts your performance as a player. So it is tricky, man. Yeah, I mean, Pablo saying there, obviously Nunes stinking up the place again. Yeah, he weren't great, and I'm not. He's not good enough. And I mean, look, to be in the squad, of course he is. Having a player like that in the squad is amazing. But to be a starter, I think that's a place we could 100% improve. And obviously, Ilias even stating here, yeah, we must get a midfielder, and I think that's facts. And I will go into that obviously when we move on. Salah, I think Salah showed he was quite lively. He was really, really lively. I think a couple of the times, to be fair, it was a really standard Salah performance. I think some of the touches were off as it is in game. I think he showed this bit of quality when he tried to play the outside of the boot pass into Nunes, and then that got blocked out. But then obviously he curled it back onto his left, and obviously resulting in a Nunes missed shot. On the other side, Jota, I think really, really poor. Really poor. I think when you compare what Diaz offers and what Jota offers, it's not the best. It's not the best at all, because Diaz is very much more dynamic on and off the ball, especially on the ball. Off the ball, Jota's movement's amazing. It's great, but you're now relying on service. And if that service isn't there, and we've seen it, if Trent's not playing a pass to him in midfield, we haven't really got anyone that's going to do that. Thiago obviously was in midfield, done really, really well. Really well. Showed a lot of energy, was pressing from the front. Fab looked really slow in midfield as well. Yeah, Fab didn't look great, but I know he takes a couple of games to get into it. So obviously it's pre-season. We're not going to look too much into that. Jota wasn't great, but it's pre-season again. I want him to get a couple of goals, especially during his pre-season tour. I think that's really, really important. Nunes. I think Nunes got 25, 30 minutes as well. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk on social media, people talking him, calling him Central C, and that. I mean, he's wearing Timberland boots. He borrowed Timberland boots off Lukaku, and that he's a Regen Werner, and all this type of stuff. And they're calling him Darwin nonsense. I had a couple of people just screaming that those type of narratives, and it is funny. Like we can, engage in a banter. Nonetheless, I think it's important to understand he's had one training session with Liverpool on which he encountered, you've suffered from blisters. You expected him to press around in that heat, and I don't know if anyone's ever done that. But it weren't great. It weren't great at all. Yeah, I mean, he missed that chance, didn't he? Where he went clear through on goal. Weren't a great finish, to be fair. It wasn't. But he did show promise earlier when the ball got played over to him, I believe. It was in midfield. I'm not too sure. Who played the ball over to him? If I'm sure, it might have been Thiago. But listen, don't. I've literally just come back from work and I've hopped on the stream and wanted to bring this to you guys. So I don't even remember. But he's taken the ball down onto his chest and he's actually volleyed it. And I think that movement's really, really key, because he was making movements that a lot of our strikers don't do. Origi didn't make those runs, and I think maybe that's why Origi didn't get the chance, because when played as a number 9, didn't really offer the off the ball movement that a Jota or even a Mane does. So I think it was decent. It wasn't a fantastic game, but he showed couple of times he linked up well. He threatened on either side of the centre backs, and I think those are more of the important bits. I think the off the ball work is something that's going to work, and I think even Klopp alluded to stating that obviously he was after his third sprint, the third sprint, his lungs were about to explode, which obviously you just know. Obviously, this is a pre-season game. Obviously, Mark A, big up Mark A. He's obviously saying Hill was at left wing, not Jota. Yeah, that's quite interesting because Hill was really, really narrow, wasn't he? I think Jota played earlier. Hill was really, really narrow. Hill looked okay. I think he looked decent. He had a bit of class about him. Nothing to he didn't tear up any trees. Pressed a lot. I guess that was it. It was all right. It was all right. Apart from that, I don't really want to go and scrutinize the lads too much. It's obviously really going to be a short one. I think it's quite annoying that we haven't scored in pre-season. I think, look, if we had lost 5-3 to United, I don't think anyone would really be too fussed. But I think not scoring, I think, we're going to need to improve that 100% because obviously we need to start the season on fire. I think goals just give you confidence, especially if we're obviously up front and all of that. And obviously if we're going to head out. But yeah, I'm going to run through the comments. I look, big up Eden in the chat, one of my boys from the ends. United fan, he's screaming saying, I've been waiting for this. Hold that. We're winning the league. Listen, the only thing you're winning is that cup and that what's it called? That Bangkok Cup or whatever it is, man. That was literally a mess. And Fernandes had the biggest grin on his face. So boy, God knows how excited he was to lift the cup. It's probably the only thing he's going to be lifting for the next couple of years, which is crazy. Anyway, I'm going to run through the comments a bit and see what you guys are saying. Like, let me know your thoughts. Like, how did you guys prefer? Is it are fans being too reactionary? Is it right to be reactionary? Like me in general, I'm not really too fussed. Like Fred never scores in it, so Fred scoring in preseason, great. Like great. You know he's not going to score in a regular season, so it's all good. It's all good, man. Ilias, big up. Mark A saying there was some nice patterns of play. Yeah, there was, especially in that first half. I think the link up between Salah and Trent was really, really strong. Really, really strong. Pablo saying Nat Phillips stunk up the place and Bobby looked like more fitter. Looked like he's much fitter, which is a good thing. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed, to be fair, with Bobby. I'm not going to lie. I'm really struggling to decide, like, where does he fit in? Where does he fit in? Even Mark A here saying Carvalho was getting annoyed at Firmino's lack of ball retention a few times, which is mad. Like, think about it. For a new player to be coming in, first, maybe they had a couple of training sessions, but first kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, pre-season tour, you're not comfortable with the lads yet, and he's already getting annoyed. It's not great. It's not great, man. Pablo saying again, like, look, Bobby can't do false nine. It's scaring me too because he can barely run anymore, especially pressing lines. Exactly. I think Milner's will run into the ground. And obviously that's the effects of playing in a Klopp system when you asked to do multiple things and you're not. Do you know what I mean? We're not tactically kind of cerebral in that sense where we're working well with the ball and without the ball. It's all about just passion and pressing and that. And I hope we do develop that over the season. Ash saying, so big up Ash. Ash is saying Williams looked like he had been at Ali's barbecue a few days before. His legs were shaky. Listen, Williams was garbage. We call him the Sanucci merchant around here, man. So big up Sanucci. Actually, no, don't big them up, man. I'm not giving them no free promo. But yeah, big up. Ilias saying you don't want to see Reece Williams play for Liverpool again. He's so slow. It's true, man. No, he's really, really slow, not really athletic, and he's not great on the ball, so I don't really know why he's here. And it's not to be rude, but just at our level, he's not good enough. Ash saying, all jokes aside, there was like 30 players out there, all way off the pace and youngsters mostly. Did okay considering most of the errors were the senior players, Nat, Joey, Hendo, Ali, etc. Yeah, 100%. I think we kept the ball really well. I think you can see that there's actually a structure coming from top to bottom where the youngsters are playing like, do you know what I mean? The youngsters are playing like the first team. But just alluding to what Mark A is saying, Bajetic and Maguire showed us something non-robotic. And I think that's my issue, is that and I'm not going to touch on it because we spoke on it in my last stream yesterday, but the whole youth team is too, everything's too robotic. It's just Gengen press and life, Gengen press and vibes. It's just, there's nothing really else there. Where back in the day, we had some individuality, and I think that's really curbed out within a Klopp system. So, yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Musialowski and the likes, they remain back at home. I'm not sure what that means, but I think they could have done well playing in this preseason, especially with an extra year of obviously reserve football under their belt. Maybe this could have been a year to break through, but who knows, man. Pablo saying, what does Naby bring to our midfield? Let's be honest, Jerry. He paid 50 mil for a man to stand around. 100%. I think, look, if we paid 15 million for Naby, I don't think anyone will be complaining at all. But it's the fact he's 50 million. He's got number 8. He's Gerrard's replacement, like some people like to say. And although there was obviously a bit of overlap, and I mean, no one wore the number 8 for a couple of seasons until Naby came. It's still a bit unacceptable, in my opinion. It's not great. I don't really know what he offers. He's not defensively astute enough to play as a DM or as a double pivot. He breaks the lines okay, but he hasn't got that pace through midfield like an Ox did. Passing wise, he's okay, but he's not the best either. I think he's really good in a kind of 1-2 situation. Yeah, it's not looking great. It's not looking great, man. Ash saying it's only preseason, but Carvalho and Thiago aside, there's no spark in the midfield. It's just energy. Really pray if Ox goes. Klopp doesn't try the Morton thing. Just go and get a CM. Yeah, I mean, look, I've said it before. I think Morton is going to get a massive chance. I think Klopp bigging him up. The fact that Morton's the face now of LFC merchandise suggests to me that he's going to have a massive role to play. So yeah, man, that's where it's worrying. Keita, honestly, always think he's going to perform, but this guy just lets us down time after time. Get him gone. Exactly. I think I'm all up for giving players chances, but I think, if you're comfortable just being rotation or playing cup games and stuff, great. Like, I don't mind that. If you're not eating into the wage budget too much, do your thing. But you're not good enough to take us to that next level. So I don't know, man. I don't know. As saying, look, the Nunes agenda is hilarious. There it is, man. There it is. But there's nothing that we can do. Obviously, Ricky alluding as well. He'll smash it this year. I have no doubts, to be fair. I have no doubts. He's the type of striker that I like and that I would like to see up front. I've had enough of these kind of nippy, small strikers. I do want a kind of focal point. So, yeah, man. Big up on that. Eden, you need to show your face. To be fair, I need to get Eden on the chat as well, because Eden obviously screaming about, and I've obviously mentioned about winning the league. We need to get a United fan perspective. So I'm going to see if I can get Eden on. So big up Eden. Pablo saying, obviously, I don't think anyone from the academy really impressed me to the point to say they have first team quality. And that's facts. Our academy is really poor. I think even United's academy players, they looked a bit better. I think that Zidane Bao looked decent. I think Alanga obviously played first team, but he looked all right as well. Yeah, I think in general, I think the academy is not really great, and we can't look to the academy as our squad depth kind of. Do you know what I mean? I think the gap between the first team and the academy is so far, it's so big. Yeah, it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. Yeah, man. Shame for the fans that we're going to get a goal. Exactly, man. I do feel sorry for the Thai fans, because you can imagine they see their team more. Look, LFC go to them parts of the world like maybe once, twice every 5 years, something like that. 6 years maybe. For a fan to even be able to get a ticket just to watch their team in their home country, I think it's crazy. I think we're really kind of we're spoilt in that sense as fans. So it is crazy. I think we lost 4 games all season last year, only to concede 4 and not score a goal at all. I do feel sorry for the fans in that regard, but It is what it is until it isn't. It is what it is until it isn't. Pablo saying to Eden, make sure you're here, Eden, at the end of the season. You're holding a screenshot right now. I'll send it to Jay. Eden, you're finished. You shouldn't have done this, man. You shouldn't have done this. Open. Yeah, I mean, he popped his head out. He's getting headshot right now. So he's gonna get clipped up, but we'll get him on. Don't worry. Phone calls are incoming when we're facing them in the league, because we've got them like what 3-4 games into the season. So yeah, when we go and smash them, expect that call, Eden. Expect that call. Ash saying that trophy looked like one of my children's cakes. That trophy was garbage. That was just so awkward to hold. It's like the base was like rectangular and the top was it was bad. And Ten Hag did look embarrassed, you know. But I think it just showed everything. Ten Hag's obviously got a message. I think it's a good managerial appointment. The players, though, I mean, excited. Fred celebrating. I know Rashford, he was happy. He took time out, obviously, from feeding the kids. So big up to him. Wasn't great either, which is really, really worrying. But hey ho. Pablo saying United about to finish 8th. I do believe so. Ilya saying we should get a midfielder this summer. 100%. Look, I'm not even going to get into this whole midfield situation. I think I don't want to get into the Klopp conversation, but all I know is that I did use the word Klopp and Wallad in the same sentence. So, bro, it is what it is. But yeah, we do need a midfielder, unless one of these players just turns out the season of their lives and we're looking back at it and we're like, actually, Morton, Jones, KR, they're actually world class. And we're overhyping them. And look, if that's the case, great. But I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know, man. Eden saying, ETH hype. Don't worry, bro. We'll be shining next year. We'll see, man. I need to see. Listen, you need to cop some merch for me first. Cop that United merch and come on the stream, then we can chat. Mark A saying Sanucci hype. Yeah, Reece Williams, man. Sanucci hype. Garbage. Phoenix, big up Phoenix. Yeah, he's saying I missed the game. I was working. Listen, I was working as well. I was actually at the computer just watching it on my phone and hopping in and out of meetings and stuff. So yeah, that's why that second team I didn't even get to watch too tough. I watched the game back as much as I could, but yeah, man. Eden saying you lot are going to be missing Mane next season. I think 100%. We will. I think he's clutch. I think he's imperative in terms of how we played last season. Didn't have the best season he's ever had, so you never know if a Nunes comes in. If Diaz starts clicking and getting goals or gets just loads and loads of assists, then boy, like we might be cooking in it, because if Nunes gets 15 goals, he's essentially matching Mane's output 4 goals. Obviously, on the pitch output is completely different, and I do think our squad as a result is weaker until the likes of your Ramseys, your Diaz's, your Nunes's do prove themselves. So yeah, man. Ricky saying, sorry, Eden, but you might win the Bangkok League, but that's about it. Oh, Bangkok League merchants. Oh, man. Everyone, guys, before we head on, I don't know how many likes we're on, but please smash the like if you're in the chat. Appreciate there's been about, obviously, 11 of us just chopping it up. This is obviously a last-minute stream, so appreciate it a lot. Let's see. We're on the road to 200 subs, so let's see if we can get that. We're trying to grow it organically, so let's go, man. Please share with your mum, dad, aunties, whoever. Let's go. Ash saying 1 Thiago, 2 Fab, 3 4 Hendo, 5 Keita, 6 Carvalho, 7 Elliott, 8 Jones, 9 Millie. We need someone to fill that 3 role. Let Ox go and get that third midfielder. Listen, we wish, but Ox isn't going anywhere. I think bump everyone up a thing and put Morton in, because Morton is somewhere in this ranking. He's somewhere here, which is mad. Mark A saying Milner not 9th choice. 100%. Milner's not 9th choice. We saw it. The fact he's getting games in pre-season, it's a bit annoying. I know it's pre-season, but it's not great. Gluten Hug didn't look happy because he knew they only scored 4 against our youngsters. Gluten Hug, that's actually a crazy. Gluten Hug, that is actually funny. Ash saying, Mark A, can we just pretend, please, bro? I'm sweating already in this heat. Today, I can't handle Millie being 5th choice right now. Boys, we all know who's 5th choice, man. Eden saying, I'm here, bro. Martial cooking. Sancho cooking. When De Jong and the rest of the lads are in, boy, De Jong and the rest of the lads, it was mad. De Jong doesn't even want to come. Don't want to come. I mean, Daddy Gluten Hog, obviously, or 10 months. 10 months is obviously doing everything you can to get all these Ajax man in. And it's a bit of it's easy, isn't it? It's easy. It's like, that's what you see at non-league. You know, when a non-league manager moves to another non-league team and he's like, yeah, let me slap up all the man them that played with us as well and got us to here. Like, come on. You guys aren't attracting anyone, which is really, really poor. Really, really poor. And De Jong, I don't know. Would I want to go and get a player that don't even want to play? God knows, man. God knows. Pablo saying, just imagine if United puts out their youngsters and we put out our first team and we only scored 4. As fans, we would be pissed. Let's be honest. Yeah, we would. We would. I don't think it's great. I think they only showed in that last game in Pellistri's goal that they on the transition were really, really good. Really, really good. But their general play weren't great. Fred and McFred or whatever, that burger, they couldn't control the game at all. They couldn't control the game. So for me, boy, God knows, man. God knows. Jason, big up Jason in the car. I'm not sure I've seen you before, but big up, man. Big up. Appreciate you tuning in. Please sub if you're new and please smash the like. Jason saying, would you have had Sterling back? I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have, because how much are we paying for him? Where is he going to, like, what position is he going to play in? Is he going to play over Diaz? I don't want him over Diaz, and he's not going to play over Salah. In the squad, yeah, of course I'd have him. Of course I'd have him, but I think he's moving to Chelsea knowing that he's going to be the main man. I think it's the first time in his career, at a really good age as well, at what, 27, 28, where he's now going to be the main man. He's going to obviously tear up the trees and stuff. So, yeah, I wouldn't have had him back. I wouldn't have had him back. I don't think he's at City, considering how many chances they create. And I was looking at the stats as well. His goal record isn't great. There's only like 2 seasons, which is, I believe, 17, 18, 18, 19, if I'm correct, where he got double figures in goals and assists, and he was like solid. And I think that's the period when people were comparing him to Messi and stuff and saying that Real Madrid are in for him and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, he's a good player. Would I have him in our team? No, I wouldn't. I think attacking options are, I think we're fine at the moment. We are fine. It's midfield that needs to be really addressed, to be fair. Phoenix saying, I don't even mean to pile on, but how is Ox satisfied with being a pedestrian in our squad? It's really concerning. Not good for all parties involved. Yeah, do you know what it is? Yeah, in regards to Ox, I don't think he's, as you mentioned there, I don't think he's satisfied with being just a pedestrian or just like I do think Klopp is telling him, you're in the rotation, and if you play well, you do so. I think Klopp done a kind of played daddy with Ox last season and just said, you're going to be twisting up your face and doing this and that because you had a good January and you didn't play after that. Cool, I'm not going to play you. But it doesn't mean he wants to get rid of him, because I think he really, really likes Ox. I think he likes what Ox gives him. Not saying I agree with that at all, but I do feel that, look, think about it. He's 29, going to be 30, right? If I'm correct. Where's he going to go from here? This is the best it's ever going to get, unfortunately, for Ox. And obviously, injuries played a massive part in regards to him performing at his best and stuff. But it weren't great. It weren't great, in my opinion, man. It hasn't been great his time at Liverpool. It started off as, flash in a pan, boom, something that we needed. But we've obviously moved on. We play a different way. And we've tried to adapt to that, but he hasn't been he hasn't been to the best ability. And I think Klopp likes him because he's versatile. I think versatility kills Klopp. I think if you're a versatile player, if you can play 5 positions, you're playing for Klopp. Klopp's going to look at you and you could be basic at every single one, but it's like you can play right back, left back, centre back, up front. You're in our squad. You're just in our squad. And I think when you look at it, because of Ox's qualities, He's dynamic to an extent. Although he does get injured, he's dynamic. He's strong. He's physical. Always has a good pre-season. Probably good in the dressing room. All that type of stuff. He's going to stay around, and that's how it is, man. But you got to understand as well. With Ox, obviously, he's settled at Liverpool. He's obviously only had his kid. He's getting married to Perry Edwards from, what is it? Was it Girls Aloud? Whoever they're called. Little Mix, that's it. Little Mix. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. He's probably been, he's being gassed. I don't know if anyone's seen it on my Instagram, so check that out. But I post something and he just gasses up the players. He just gasses them up. So, yeah, man. Ash saying, who would be my centre mid choice? Realistic, like the 40 mil range. Jesus, man. That question's actually stunned me. It's made me sit back. I'm not sure who's there. Paqueta. He's more of an attacking mid. But I'm not sure, man. Joyce, anyone. I think that's how dire we are in midfield. Anyone. Someone that can give me 38 games at a 7 out of 10 minimum, playing every game. I think that goes and give. I think people are getting it misconstrued with the whole centre mid thing and saying, "No, we're going to win the league if we get a midfielder." No, I think what it does is if we've got a consistent midfielder that plays 38 games like a Gini Wijnaldum and plays at a 7 out of 10 every game, it just means that the games that you're drawing and the games that you're losing, you get a point out of, or you get 3 points. And then when you look back on it, the seasons that we've lost, so like last season when we lost that by a point, a couple of seasons before that when we lost that by 2 points, 1 point, all that type of thing. Like you don't do that because we control games better. And I think we need a better controller or someone that's just reliable. Where I want essentially someone that when you think of our midfield, you think of that player. Just like we did when we had Gerrard, just like we did a few seasons ago when you thought of Liverpool's midfield. It was always Henderson. I know he's getting on now and we want to kind of transition away from there. But I want someone that's just part of the spine. And I think that's all it could be. Who it could be, I don't know. Pablo saying, if Ox did what Thiago does with his injuries and came back and still played good, I don't think anyone would say we need a 3. We need a 3. But that brother there is another Naby. 100%. I think that's the problem. Obviously, Thiago's a different player because I think the club bought him knowing he's not available for every game. I think he's there to make the difference in the biggest games, which is actually mad because you look at Real Madrid game and he didn't do anything. He's always injured, so God knows, isn't it? He's playing at Burnley instead. Crazy. But I guess that's the problem. Klopp sees him. He gets a run of games, plays really, really well, doesn't play, and then doesn't see the light of day like an Origi, like a Minamino, like all these players have. And we don't rotate, and I think that's the issue. I think that's the biggest issue. Pablo, obviously, you're saying, what, could we buy Gallagher from Chelsea for 40 mil? Yeah, we could do. Would Chelsea sell? I think Gallagher will be a good buy. I think he's someone that plays really, really consistently, showed he could get goals, creates, works hard, tackles. He's a good player. I think that's the type of player we could go for. Him, Ward-Prowse, that type of player. Mohammed, big up Mohammed in the chat. Mohammed Khalif saying, bring back Genie. Yeah, maybe. On loan, I'd bring him back. I wouldn't buy him, though. I wouldn't buy him. I'm the biggest Genie fan, but I just wouldn't buy him at the moment. But I'd definitely have him in the squad. It means that we've now got a player on the rotation that's going to be available every single game, and he can come in and just play out a 7 out of 10, regardless. So 100%. Big up Grizz. Grizz is the Don saying, Jerry, just curious. Start of the new year, we were the best team in Europe. Do you think that the World Cup break we could just be good if Klopp doesn't get a midfielder? You know what? That's a really, really good point. Really good point. I think the fact that Salah's not going to the World Cup as well, the fact that loads of teams are going to lose their players and there's that little break, I think that does help us. Only problem we've got is that if we suffer a couple of injuries for whatever reason during the World Cup, when we come back, our squad's going to be really thin, and we're going to have to rely on the likes of Elliott, Jones, Morton, Ox as well. He's not getting on the plane. So yeah, but I think it is important. I think we start really well, but I think We need to control games better, and I don't think we control games better. We rely a lot on the high line, and I think we saw it even in the game just gone. I think that high line is something that really affected us. Pablo saying, third starting midfield. Oh, okay, I get it. We need a third starting midfield. 100%, but he's not available. That's the problem. And I think with Naby, all these players, they're not available, and then Jones, etc., and co don't get chances because Klopp doesn't trust them to go and play 5, 10, 15 games on the bounce. Yeah, we saw it with Elliott. Do you know what I mean? After a poor game at Inter Milan, if this was Arsenal, he's playing the next game after that. He didn't do that, though. He got taken out the firing line. So, yeah, man. Ash saying, at this stage, I think I will take Moutinho on a free 1-year deal just to see someone else in there who isn't just energy. 100%. But what does Klopp want from a midfield? I think that's the crucial point. I think Thiago's someone that's actually bought into Klopp's philosophy. Would a Moutinho do that at the age of 34? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's difficult. But guys, I'm gonna that's gonna be it for me today. It was literally meant to be a short one. So big up everyone that's obviously been in the chat. I really appreciate it. There's been obviously like 12 of us, 15 of us at one point just watching. Literally no promo, no nothing. So big up everyone. Please smash the like. I'll probably be doing a stream in a couple of days or so. So please click the notification bell as well. We're on the road to 200 subs. So please, if we could get to 200 subs as quickly as possible, that would be incredible, guys. Man, obviously, it's been the Jerry James Show. With obviously your preseason match analysis, we'll be doing them as the preseason goes on, and obviously once the league gets started, we're gonna have a lot of these, and he's going to be in depth. I'm gonna get Jack the stat man from Klopp Zone as well to come on. He's gonna break down all the stats for us. So look, we're in for some special times here on the show. So big up everyone that's involved. Peace out. It's been the Jerry James Show, and I'm out, guys. Peace.